Morning Dish.
He's the hardest working man in show business. His band's music takes you into the midnight hours. And when you wake up, his voice is back on your radio alarm clock. How on earth did this happen?
Well, Jeff saw me taking out the trash at the radio station.
And he won another award.
But this one is better.
I'm your boogeyman. That's what I am.
It's the Morning Dish with the 2019 Radio Personality of the Year winner, Stephen Phillips.
You paying attention to this, Packy?
And Murphy's own Sherry Raines.
Yeah, you must have given horseback passes to the right guy, Stephen.
Well, giddy up.
And Packy Smith's Shetland pony is right alongside.
You guys know these demo tapes don't just edit themselves together, right?
Well, all right.
3 cheers for Stephen Phillips.
Y'all need to help Stephen Phillips out over there. Out the door and off the radio.
Here's Stephen Phillips.
All righty, folks, we're back with you, and got a friend of mine here on the radio. I'm glad he's calling in. Mr. Matt Stillwell, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good, brother. How are you?
Yeah, we're hanging in there. We're getting ready to get locked up for Thanksgiving. We're going to eat anyway. You know how that goes.
Yeah, hopefully they can't stop us from eating, right?
I'm with you. Like I said, if they take me in, I'm taking my Cool Whip bowl with me. But anyway, so so you're actually from Sylva, North Carolina. Those that's not heard of him, he's a local boy and done good. Yeah, you've had a lot of stuff going on. I'm gonna tell you, I'm pretty impressed because Southerners, they figure all this stuff out, and we've been in the quarantine thing. But you've actually got this cool trailer that you have designed that you could do hometown parties, man. Where did this come from?
Well, so about a year and a half ago, man, I kind of stripped there. As you know, I was in a bus with 4 or 5 players and a sound man and all that kind of stuff for almost a decade. And I was about to put Everybody's Got a Hometown out, that song. And around that, I was kind of in the process of stripping everything down. And so I stripped everything away to just me and a guitar in my truck. And I started in Philadelphia and New York and went to all over the country, just playing in people's backyards. And then, of course, this pandemic hit. And I had a friend of mine that I had a marketing company out of St. Louis, and she called and she had an idea. It's kind of similar to you reached out to me to call here.
Right.
Our whole world is about relationships.
Right.
So she called and she had an idea. It's funny when you say it, but she wanted me to ride around on basically a Christmas float all through St. Louis and play for everybody when we were quarantined.
Right.
And back then she called like at the end of March.
Right.
So it was right when it had just started, and everybody was pretty scared. I say scared, but
nobody wanted to go nowhere.
It was brand new to everybody. Like, what in the world's going on? And so I literally took my little Bose sound system and a little generator, and we rode around St. Louis for 4 days, and we'd go into neighborhoods and go to apartment complexes and just we would stop every once in a while, but for the most part we were actually moving.
Right.
And I was just playing music and talk to people, and not because I was there, but man, some people would come out of their apartments or their homes and they'd cry and stuff because they hadn't seen a human and didn't know when they were going to see another one outside of your phone screen or a TV. And it was kind of an eye-opening situation. And
No, Matt, Stephen has that
ahead.
problem when he goes out anyway, with people crying when he shows up to play. So, don't feel too special is all I'm saying.
I think this is really cool. I think this is a cool idea.
Have no doubt.
Yeah.
And so here's, you were talking about us Southern people figure out how to do things. This was my original idea, which you'll get a kick out of this. I had a trailer I pulled behind my bus.
Right.
My idea was to cut the sides out of the trailer. So I was basically going to cut my sleeves off.
Right.
And to where I would have I would be covered and I could roll around and all that kind of stuff. And I took it to a shop to get it done. They're like, yeah, you can't do that. And it would fall apart, before you got out of Knox County. But so I found what is called a Porch concessions trailer. So, but basically, it's a food truck
Right.
that I adapted. The back 10 feet of it is a porch.
Right.
That is my stage, and I can play from either side, all three sides.
Yeah.
And then the front 10, the enclosed part, I sell my merchandise out of. So I have, a concessions window. So I'm a mobile music truck, I guess, at this point. But
I think you're ahead of the game, man.
Well, and I think I am too, and I've kept a little bit of it close to my chest. I haven't just splattered it all over everywhere, but I've played 10 shows in California.
Right.
Played, up in Oregon and made my way back, and I've played, all over, and obviously our weather's starting to get a little bit cooler, and
right.
so I'll probably head south here a little bit later in December and in the beginning of the year, but I do too, and this is what I figured out. People, and you guys can see that, everybody can see this. People love live music,
right.
and that demand has only strengthened. And so when we come out of this, whenever that is, and if you ask, the bigger booking agencies and labels, I will say this: I'm completely 200% happy that I'm completely independent.
I guarantee you. Yep.
And Stephen, you guys know this. I book myself. I manage myself. I do all those things. And
right.
so when this happened, that all of a sudden became an advantage, and because I didn't have to have 10 people approve me going to do something.
Yeah, all over.
And at that point, it's just a matter of don't go be too stupid, but you got to keep working. I got 2 little girls I got to feed, and so, but I really like where it is, and I haven't ever connected with people better than when I do this, because it's essentially, a songwriter night. It's
it's more personal.
It's
more
party.
personal.
It's like it's a Bluebird Cafe in your backyard, and there's just some really, every night there's really special things. And man, I could be playing for 15 people, or I played for almost 300 out in Bakersfield a couple different times.
Right.
So it doesn't, sometimes it's really small, sometimes it's a little bit bigger. But not to talk too crazy, but I played in Tampa last year, and I didn't have the trailer at this point, so there wasn't really the wow factor. If you pull up in a bus, people are like, oh, okay, and
right.
if you have this trailer, it just kind of sets the tone of the night. So
Tell him what you pull up in, Stephen. Tell him.
He's seen the bandwagon. I drive a bandwagon.
I have seen the bandwagon. Yeah.
It gets a lot of attention because it's leaking oil wherever it goes, so that's great.
Well, listen, every bus that rides up and down the roads is leaking oil somewhere. But I had, go through the night, and it was, there was some really cool moments, and like for me, there's the Hey Dad time, and
yeah, that's cool too.
The gospel medley that I do, and all that kind of stuff. So I get through, and I'm selling some merchandise and signing things, for the kids, and 5 grown men walk over, and they're like, "Do you mind if we pray over you?"
Oh, how cool is that?
And so I look up, and the guy's name's Mike Marks, Big Mike. And he pointed over, and the wives that were there were over on the other side of the yard doing the same thing. And it was this crazy, surreal moment for me. But it showed me that, hey, number one, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
And there continues to be those affirmations, as I keep going down this road. And but I do think this is a way that other artists can probably tour a little bit. You got to be willing to have a trailer built for 8 weeks, and then drive yourself to California and back. But other than that,
well, I'm a big fan, man. I love your stuff. You got, especially that Hey Dad, which you actually wrote that about your dad, and that's a cool thing. If anybody was wondering, Matt Stillwell's who we're talking to, just go to Facebook and Google in Matt Stillwell. It'll bring all the information up. If somebody wants to, now you do these house parties. If somebody would like to get you to come do a house party, where do they need to? They just go to the Facebook page, or where's your?
Yeah, you can send me you can send or comment or something on any of the social sites, Instagram, and it's all Matt Stillwell Music. The easiest way is to go to my website, which is mattstillwellmusic.net, and then there's a / HHP, Hometown House Party.
Right.
And there's a form you hit, and it emails me, and then I'll reach back out to you, and we'll figure out how to do it. But I love what we're doing, and I appreciate you letting me yap at you about it.
Well, before we go, do you not have a new single you just released not long ago?
I just released something we can dance to. I say I just released it. In today's world, it's ancient. But
Right.
it was about 2 months ago, month
Right.
and a half. Song I wrote. I lived about 5 years ago, not long after my dad passed. My wife and I moved. She's from Knoxville. We moved back here. She didn't know anybody in Nashville, and we had 2 little girls that were 14 months apart. So in the very beginning, that was tough when I was on the road. But we moved back to Knoxville, so I got about a 2-hour drive to Nashville to write and record and do all that. So my ideas come from that. And the day I wrote that song, I heard, which we've all heard it because of the Troll soundtrack now, but can't stop this feeling inside my bones. And so I wanted to write a country version of that kind of.
Right.
That's what Something We Can Dance To is about. And I'm actually going to release a new one in December the 11th called Out of State Plates.
Well, you have to get
We
back.
know all about the out-of-state plates.
Yeah, Stephen.
Yeah, well, I
uses
was going to
those.
say, now listen, we come from the same spot. We used to have a little, somebody pronounced it on one of the ads a minute ago. They pronounced it wrong. It's not Blairsville, it's Blairsville.
Blairsville, you're right. Yeah.
I know, and
Yeah.
so I was kind of confused what they were talking about.
Yeah.
But we used to come down to Chattooga all the time, and my dad's company, we had what we called the corporate retreat, which is simply a very small little camper.
Yeah, I know how that is.
We had a little piece of, a little slot or whatever there, but man, a lot of my life has been spent on that lake and
Right.
that area, and just we come from a beautiful place in this world,
Yeah.
and I love it.
Well, Matt, I sure do. We got to get to commercial, man, and I sure do appreciate
Yeah,
you calling in. Anybody, we're talking to Matt Stillwell. Just go to Facebook, and that'll take you to all his links, and he has got some great music. I mean, he is a fantastic guy, and so I know him, and like I said, I appreciate you getting up and giving us a call, man, and good luck with all that. And if we can help, let us know.
Thanks, man.
Well, let's do some shows.
I'm with you.
All right.
I'll have to build me a trailer. We'll be side by side, I guess.
Okay. Hey, thanks, guys.
All right,
Thank
talk
you.
care. Folks, don't forget you can listen online anywhere in the world at WJULradio.com. That is WJULradio.com. Or you can listen live at Lake 97.7 WJUL. And don't forget, we're going to be uploading this to the YouTube channel and our Facebook page. So just go to the Morning Dish. You can listen to the show again and give us a like and give us a share. We appreciate it.